it's a show that was warned while I was getting makeup that I need to step up. And I said, you know what? Yeah.
I warned both of y'all.
What did you warn me
Just
about?
don't get out beside yourself today.
Because we're doing the
regular
post-game
show.
press conference, and Gianna's going to be keeping track of box scores.
And
so
Brew dominated last time, but Brew, I thought
usage rate.
I'm worried y'all going for your numbers.
It was a nice kind of, though, last show, like young Kobe Shaq. Like I set you up, you had the mic drops. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, that's true. Who was wild?
Phil Jackson.
Was it Phil Jackson or?
Yeah, no, I was Phil Jackson.
I don't know. You had 0 good points. According to the official box
I'll give you Derek Fisher.
I don't know, man. You had 0 good.
You know what?
Yeah, you didn't even score.
Jerry West.
Yeah.
At that point, he was with the Grizzlies.
Exactly. I don't want to be here. Jerry Jones on the, quote, blue carpet for the premiere of the Cowboys Netflix documentary was asked how he views the Cowboys' role in the NFL and pop culture as a whole, bro. Bro, your reaction to this quote.
Thank you, Jerry. I mean, this is just confirmation for what I've been saying for the last 6-7 years.
Wow, 6-7 years.
Because remember, I had the radio show, The Odd Couple, before I joined you.
You got 5 to 7.
Yes.
No, 6 to 9.
6 to 9.
Yeah, 7 to 10 actually. But
6 to 9
and I've
Central.
actually used the term soap opera. Like, this is just proof that Jerry does not view the Cowboys primarily as a football franchise. They are primarily an entertainment enterprise. Mm-hmm. And I've said this before, but we've all gone to see great movies that are sports-based, but they're really not about the sports. They're about the love story or whatever.
Cup.
Yeah, I wasn't the first that came to mind, but Love and Basketball or something like that. Where it's a Bull Durham.
There's a lot.
Bull Durham wasn't about baseball. It was about the love. So the Cowboys are a drama, a controversy in a football setting. That's what they are. And that is great for the bottom line. It's great for business. And that's why the Cowboys, despite having not won a Super Bowl in the last 30 years, are the highest valued franchise in American sports. Baseball, basketball, they are the highest. And so it's great for that, but it's terrible for football because it creates distractions. What coaches don't want are unnecessary distractions. And that's what Jerry is constantly creating. Look at all the great winners, the Chiefs now, the Patriots, the Steelers in the NFL, whether it's the Lakers or some team in the Spurs in the NBA. Like, if there might be drama, but it's drama based on the game. When Shaq and Kobe had their drama, it hurt the team. Right? Yep. And so this is he just summed up what he and they are all about, and it's great for money, but it's terrible if you want to win Super Bowl.
So I want to take it maybe a step further because, listen, you have been saying this for years, and I don't think you're the only person who has made this point, but I think you're the only person I know of that this has been your main point about the Cowboys. I think everybody's acknowledged Jerry likes to be, you know what I mean, in the mix. But you have talked about back a couple of years ago when I was picking them to make the Super Bowl because I liked the roster, about the silliness associated with the team. And so I thought about that when I was listening to this quote because I tried to square that with the fact that Jerry, this past offseason, did something very, very specific and a major decision that decreased buzz, that made them less of a circus or a sideshow or less attention, and that is his head coach pick. He could have picked Bill Belichick, which would have been a massive story, and instead he picked as anonymous of a head coach as one could get in Brian Schottenheimer. And I thought about why is that? And so this is what I'm saying I want to kind of add to it. It's not just that the Cowboys are a soap opera. It's that he has to be the star.
Yes.
It's not just that we need the attention, but I need to be the main character of this movie. And you have seen that throughout these Micah negotiations, which aren't even negotiations because they won't engage on the negotiations. But not just with his daily impromptu press avails, but with him saying, let me make this clear. A lot of people that do contracts for the Cowboys, but a contract like this one is between me and the player. Jerry Jones is doing this one. And by the way, come check out the new Cowboys documentary called The Gambler. Not called America's Team or whatever it is, about, about what me and what I've done. Which then led me to something that I think might pique your interest, because you, and I think not just you, some of the audience as well, is kind of over this story because we all saw this story coming. I talked in January that there was going to be Micah drama. Mm-hmm. Here's would be my concern if I'm a Cowboys fan. Because I don't think Jerry's dumb by any, stretch of the imagination. I think he's pretty savvy about this stuff. Dak is locked up. CD is locked up. The team is fine. They're probably not going to, though, be an A1 story based on their own merit on the field anytime soon. What is the only way for the Cowboys to guarantee they can control future offseason news cycles? The answer to that is not lock up Micah Parsons. The answer to that, if they
not even through this year.
Yes, if they
and trade him or franchise him.
Yeah, play this year out, and then we'll resume negotiations, which have never begun. He has not talked to the agent once. They haven't even started negotiations. So our show's take, I think, mostly has been it's probably getting done right before the first day of the season. Mm-hmm. And if I had to bet money, I would probably, after being burnt on the Dak bet that I made, say that's probably what's going to happen. But if Jerry understands the only way to continue this, this level of intrigue and interest, because there's not going to be anything around Dak. He has a no trade. They haven't signed long term. CD is a great player, but could the Cowboys trade CD Lamb? Is not we see receivers get traded and he's locked up. There's no other great young player coming up for a deal. So do I think in that regard it is now more on the board that they never call the agent, that this does become a staring contest and they roll it over into next offseason?
Micah shouldn't play. Then Micah shouldn't play.
I totally agree with you on that, but we don't.
You mean the first few weeks? Because
unless
he's going to fake an injury. Which
that's the only thing he can do.
Yeah, because he can't just sit out healthy.
Well, he has that aching back.
Exactly.
Okay, so the back won't get healthy.
Yeah, if we are all in agreement that at this point for Jerry Jones, winning games and competing for a championship would be a nice bonus on top of his main goal, the signing Micah Parsons to a contract doesn't really achieve the main goal of staying in the news. It does of creating more buzz and intrigue around. And otherwise, every time we talk about the Cowboys, I can't get over the little small font of their win total. This team's supposed to be, sorry, Hubs, mid.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Likes when you say mid.
Okay. So you're welcome, Hubs.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Well, look, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I would be shocked if they don't sign Micah. But to your point, signing before the season. To your point, once they sign Micah, let's say they do it a week before the season. Now it's all football. And when you're mid, then you do fade away. I will give you that. If they're mid throughout the season, actually for the storyline, it'd be better if they're horrible.
Yes.
But
I don't think anybody thinks they're going to be horrible.
Right. If they're mid, then at some point we're going to stop talking about them. So that is true. But that's where if you're Micah Parsons, you are, and other players, you are ticked off to the nth degree. Because Jerry's got all the money in the world. Micah Parsons doesn't. I know he's made millions as an NFL player, but this is his big contract.
Correct.
And you are playing with that, Jerry is, in a sport where one game, one practice could change the entire course of his career.
And he's not Dak, where a quarterback can have their ankle shattered and still sign the biggest contract ever because they're so scarce. Pass rusher is super valuable, but pass rusher is also so reliant on athleticism and everything that
particularly with him,
right? If Micah were to suffer, a catastrophic injury, it's not like Dak where, okay, you're going to get the contract anyway.
Right.
Then everything changes for him, and he doesn't yet have, the
huge
generational money that we talk about a player of his caliber having earned.
You guys are both on the board. Head to Chiefs camp. Patrick Mahomes sat down with Kay Adams, was very optimistic about this year in building on these 16 unanswered points at the end of the Super Bowl.
So listen, I have very conflicted feelings about what the actual best Chiefs team ever is. Because I think, much like I think the best Patriot team ever didn't win the Super Bowl, I actually think the best Chiefs team of my lifetime's 2020. And they got clocked in the Super Bowl by Tampa and Brady. And so I don't know what we're measuring, them against which year, but I thought that was the best combo of offense, defense. You still had, peak Hill, peak Travis, all of that. Where I think this is absolutely on the board is the tangible and the intangible. The tangible is this. They had that awesome draft class a few years ago, primarily of defensive players who are now veteran-ish.
Right.
You know what I mean? They are now McDuffie, Karlaftis are entering year 4. Chris Jones is still great. This definitely has a chance to be the best Chiefs defense, the best defense of the Mahomes era. You then add to it that I think it's the best receiver group they've had since 2019, when they had Tyreek, Sammy Watkins, and put prime Kelce in that receiver group. And I think that this should be as good of an offensive line as they've had. So you put all those things together, that should be, they have the personnel to be the best.
Right.
But here's the most important thing. What they have that's not quantifiable, but I know it, is for the first time in 3 years, chip on his shoulder Mahomes. So the last time they had chip on his shoulder Mahomes was after the first time, in my opinion, and the only time actually, Patrick has truly failed as a pro, which was the second half of the AFC Championship game in 2021, and then they traded Tyreek Hill, and then there was real, I think, legitimate doubt amongst the media, who is the best quarterback in football? Mahomes hadn't won Super Bowl in a couple years.
Right.
He had just played poorly. Burrow had, beaten him. They had traded away Hill. And he responded that year by having 5,600 yards and 45 touchdowns in the regular season. That's a record for yards. 6,553 if you include the playoffs. With a skill position group that was, aside from Travis, Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS. Their leading touchdown receiver was Jerick McKinnon. Their leading rusher was a 7th-round rookie. And they went 17-3 and scored 30 points per game. And I think that was, I've got something to prove to you guys, Patrick. I think they have that Patrick back and the right personnel. So, yes, I think this absolutely could be the best Chiefs team.
A lot of that's true. I mean, if they get it done, and the receiving core, I really like if they're healthy.
Yep.
And Rice.
And unsuspended.
Yeah,
Second
he
half
gets
of the
back
year.
and is the same player he was before he got suspended. You kind of stole my thunder early. Because I do think Mahomes is being nice, to use your phrase. Like, he didn't just, it's not like he's like saying to Nick or someone, this could be our best team ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he was asked, could this be your best team? And I think the way he said it, of course you're going to say, you won 3 Super Bowls, you have the credibility to say that. You're not going to say no. So I think he sees the potential. Like every year he thinks they can win the Super Bowl, and they obviously can. So I don't think he's like seeing something here that he didn't see in some of the other teams. But to your point, you're right. Now, I'm partial to the old teams where they were more offensive.
Yep.
I do think obviously you're not going to have prime Kelce. Even if he has a good season, he's not what he was in 22 or 19 when they won the Super Bowl. Xavier Worthy would have to not duplicate Tyreek Hill, but come close. Make us think about, wow, he's kind of having that type of impact. I don't think Pacheco, now maybe last year I know he only played half the season, not even half, and wasn't the same.
They never had a great running back.
No, but his early on,
his rookie year, 22.
He was really, and then Edwards-Helaire was, they were a nice tandem.
Yep.
I don't think Pacheco, maybe last year was just getting back from injury, but he was under 4 yards of pop.
Yep.
So if he has to get back to that guy too. I agree with the defense. I think it was 22 when they had a top 11 defense, not top 10,
Yes.
and the offense was best in the league.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
that would probably have to go down as the best team. But I do think what you said is correct. Like if the receivers are healthy and Mahomes does have his light show, then sure, it could be the best.
You're kind of writing off prime Travis, but Travis came out with a big article in GQ. Here's what he said on his bounce back season. Here he is with an alligator. I think it might have slipped a little bit because I did have a little bit more focus in trying to set myself up, and opportunities came up where I was excited to venture into a new world of acting and being an entertainer.
You go ahead, sorry.
So the pictures are amazing and very artistic and cool, I would say. I could see how people would take shots at them. Buried within like the Taylor talk and the entertainer talk is Travis Kelce out here grinding away in Florida and a big interview with his trainer about how he is going to be very fast and very effectively fast. So this made me think, after reading the article, that we are going to see a Kelce renaissance.
Well, so listen, I do not think we are going to have a vintage Kelce season. I do think he can be better than he was the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Like the happy medium. Vintage Kelce is the greatest receiving threat in the history of the position.
Okay, well, all right, take it down a notch from there.
What? No,
I mean,
no, that's what I'm. I wasn't. Was that a Gronk response?
No. I'm saying if it's here, I'm just saying here.
Yeah. So right. So I think he can. I think he will have a year where he will be one of the 3 best players at his position again. I think Bowers will be great. I think Kelce will be great, and then wild card tight end that has a great year. Maybe the kid in Arizona. I shouldn't say the kid, but there's other guys who it could be. But What I think is maybe more noteworthy is this. I am never going to doubt, and I don't think anyone should doubt how hard Patrick works. And I think Travis, over the course of his career, has been an insanely hard worker, but he's saying he was working hard at a bunch of different things. I do think there was, after you win the Super Bowl the way they did 2 years ago, the year with all the drops, and they go on the road, and they go through the gauntlet. And then throughout the beginning of last year, Brew, you just consistently play blah and then win. A sense of inevitability and invincibility. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Could permeate a team that I don't think is that rare across sports when a team consistently wins. The difference is usually in those other sports, it doesn't take one terrible night to ruin your year. You know what I mean? The sense of we're just better than everyone. And then even if you do take a team lightly, you can, over the course of a series, overpower them. The Chiefs didn't have that opportunity.
Chiefs-Chargers, 24 days in Rio. We're going to head to college where number
24 days.
Yeah. Number 1, Texas opens up the season at number 3, Ohio State on Fox. The odd part about the odds, Longhorns are number 1 and 2.5-point underdogs. First time since 1978. Number 1 team hasn't been favored in the opener. Is this disrespectful?
Well, look, I'm from Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
So go Buckeyes. All right.
Wow. I thought you paid a lot of money for Michigan.
I did, but my daughter's out of there now, so I'm back on the Buckeyes. But this is absolutely disrespectful. Are we number 1 or not? Are we the best team in the country or not? I get it. It's in Columbus. It's in Ohio. But still. Is the football field still 100 yards? The ball is the same size.
Love it.
Right, I mean, I'm serious. If we're the best team in the country, then we're supposed to win. Don't make us number 1 in the preseason and then say, you know what, you got a week. You got 1 week to be the best team in the country, and then that's it. I mean, so it is absolutely, and they're not even. It's not even like as great as Ohio State is. Obviously, defending national champion. They're number 3. Penn State is number 2. So it is completely disrespectful. It's actually good fodder for them.
I vehemently disagree. So listen, Ohio State has been an underdog at home once since 2011. They are always favored at home. And the one time they were was a Michigan-Ohio State game when both teams were competing in theory for a national championship. Michigan was a slight favorite in that game. This to me, the 1978 stat, sorry to be a company shill for a moment, but I will, is actually a stat about how unbelievable this game is. Because do you know why the number one team in the nation is never an underdog in week one? Because the number one team in the nation is never on the road against an awesome team in week one. They are usually either playing a patsy or it's a neutral site game. And in a neutral site game, I agree with Brew. If you are the number one team in the nation and you're playing on a neutral site, you should be the favorite. But when you're number 1 versus 3 and in the coaches poll it's 1 versus 2 and it's at the shoe, then you're going to be the underdog, especially when Ohio State might have the number 1 player in the 2026 draft and 2027 draft. Caleb Downs might be the best player in this upcoming draft. He won't go number 1 because he's not a quarterback. And Jeremiah Smith will be the number 1 player in the 2027 draft.
But they might have the number 1 pick too. If Arch Manning pops.
They'll have the number 1 quarterback for sure. Listen, I think Texas is, obviously these are 2 great teams. But you're not going to be a favorite in Ohio State against a great Buckeye team. You're just not.
So if you were voting, would you bake that in?
No, of course not. What they are saying is the
voters
voters think Texas and Ohio State, if they were to play at Arrowhead in Kansas City, neutral geographically and everything, Texas is slightly better. And if they were playing in how about this? If they were playing in Texas, I think it's Texas by 3.5. And in Ohio State, it's Ohio State by 2.5. And on a neutral site, it's Texas by 1. That's what I think.
Does that make you feel better if you're a Longhorn?
No.
No. They actually did Texas a favor.
But they also did played in the playoff last year and Ohio State won. I know it's different rosters, but... Okay. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.